Okay, let's get into this. We're doing a deep dive today on a pretty charged claim, the one made by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. connecting male circumcision to a higher risk of autism. And supposedly because of Tylenol or Panadol used afterwards. Yeah, it's generated a lot of noise. So our mission here really is to just cut through that, look at the actual sources, the science or lack thereof. We want to explain the biomedical side simply so you can walk away understanding what the evidence actually suggests.
Right, and it's key to know where this started. It seems to stem from some cabinet remarks, October 9, 2025, apparently, where RFK Jr. mentioned, I think, 2 studies showing double the risk for boys circumcised early.
2 studies, okay?
But the immediate sort of scientific hurdle here, even before digging into the data, is that classic issue, correlation versus causation.
Just because two things track together doesn't mean one caused the other. We see that all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the fundamental question right from the start. Are we seeing a real effect or just coincidence?
So when we look for those sources, what do we actually find? I know there are observational studies out there.
Yeah, observational and, well, heavily debated ones. There's a 2013 paper that noted a big national correlation.
National, so like country level data.
Precisely. An ecological link.
Yeah.
Countries with higher circumcision rates also had higher autism rates, that kind of thing.
Interesting, but maybe not super specific. What about the other one, the Danish study?
Yes, the 2015 Danish study. That one did conclude there might be a potentially higher risk of autism spectrum disorder in boys who had the procedure.
Potentially higher, okay.
But this is where it gets really interesting. Thanks to analysis from people like Dr. Celine Gounder,
Yeah.
she dug into that Danish study.
Yeah.
And the finding, well, the link between circumcision and autism risk was only found in boys under 5.
Only under 5.
Yeah, and here's the kicker. After age 5, the association completely vanished, gone.
Oh, okay, wait, it just disappears. That seems significant.
It is significant because if the procedure itself or the Tylenol was causing some kind of neurological issue, why would the link just evaporate at age 5? It doesn't quite add up.
So what's the explanation then, if it's not the procedure?
Well, Dr. Gounder's hypothesis, which makes a lot of sense when you look at the pattern, is diagnostic bias.
Diagnostic bias.
Meaning, think about who tends to get circumcisions within the formal medical system. Often, it's families with, say, higher parental education, maybe higher income. And those same demographics often correlate with parents being more likely to seek out medical advice and, crucially, get an earlier diagnosis if their child does have autism.
Ah, I see. So the circumcision isn't causing autism. It's just that the kids getting circumcised are maybe in families more likely to spot autism early anyway.
Exactly. The procedure becomes a marker for earlier diagnosis, not a cause of the condition itself. The timing makes it look like a link, but it's really about when the diagnosis happens.
That completely reframes it. Okay, so the correlation seems weak, potentially explained by other factors. But what about the Tylenol or Panadol part, the supposed mechanism?
Right. We still need to address that specific claim. And here, the clinical perspective is really important. Dr. Stephen Abelowitz, for example, he's quite firm on this. He states there's absolutely no study confirming a causal link between Tylenol, circumcision, vaccines, anything like that, and autism. None.
No causal link found in studies, okay?
And he adds this really powerful anecdote from his own practice. We're talking, what, 30 years, maybe 10,000 procedures?
Uh-oh, yeah.
And in his experience, Tylenol is almost never used after circumcision. They
Okay.
typically use topical numbing agents, gels, that sort of thing.
So the whole idea that Tylenol is routinely given afterwards, and that's the trigger, it just doesn't match clinical reality for many practitioners.
It seems fundamentally inconsistent, yeah. The proposed mechanism itself appears flawed based on actual practice.
Okay, so where does the overall scientific consensus land then?
Well, if you look at broader reviews, like a major systematic review from 2022, it concluded that the highest quality evidence points towards limited or even no adverse psychological effects from male circumcision.
No adverse effects found in the best evidence.
Pretty much, which ties back to why people like Mel Merritt from the UK's National Autism Society called the original claim, dangerous anti-science rhetoric.
Right, because it potentially scares people away from established medical procedures based on, well, flimsy evidence.
Exactly.
So, wrapping this up, we started with this quite provocative claim, but the deep dive shows how easily correlation gets mistaken for causation. The expert analysis points strongly towards diagnostic bias, not a true causal link from the procedure.
And the proposed Tylenol mechanism just doesn't seem to hold up under clinical scrutiny.
The science really isn't there to support the claim.
No. Which leaves us, and you listening, with maybe a final thought to consider. Dr. Gounder mentioned the cultural and religious factors often tied to circumcision. So think about this. How does the loud voice of non-scientific figures potentially complicate things for parents? Especially parents who are just trying to navigate early medical care, maybe seeking diagnoses for their kids. What's the real-world impact when misinformation gets amplified like that?
Something to definitely think about, how influence impacts real healthcare decisions.